I do find it shocking because I figured that Rupert would be around until he couldn't take a breath. And I guess what he's saying in the memo is, I really am going to be around. I'm going to be there on Friday afternoons, and I'm going to be reading and watching and commenting and getting in touch with you. And so, despite the fact the memo says that he is stepping back from the two official roles, he seems to be very much telling people in that staff memo released today that he is going to be very much present. And really the only change is his son Lachlan is taking over as chairman of both companies, of both Fox and News Corporation, which houses, as we know, the newspapers, the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, the New York Post, and the Australian assets. Rupert Murdoch is 92 after all. And, I've chatted to people at the company and they're telling me he's fine and he's as engaged as ever. And this is really a continuation of a change that's been happening for a while. I mean, his son Lachlan is 52. Rupert took over from his father when he was 22. But Lachlan has been the CEO of Fox for since 2019, so at least 3-4 years now. And this is really just Lachlan taking the mantle and saying, now it's time. It's his company only. Rupert Murdoch has made it pretty clear that he is very much over Donald Trump, wasn't really into him as the candidate back in 2015. But once he won, they very much got behind him. But what we saw is kind of a back and forth and fights between the two. And ultimately, Donald Trump cost Fox News $787 million with this defamation lawsuit that was settled. And, what I hear across the company is there are cutbacks. They have to cut back for both because of that Dominion lawsuit and because of the advertising climate that all media companies are in right now, that there's cutbacks everywhere. So, staff are really bracing for change. In his memo to staff, he references the elites who he really dislikes. He references big bureaucracies being in self-serving. And he's very keen to slam the media too, in saying that oftentimes the media is in cahoots with these elites. And so you see his opinion coming out very clearly. I also think that part of his legacy is his ability to connect with the ordinary American. And he certainly thanks the guys who drive the trucks, or the gals, the assistants at the company, the cleaning people. And he's clearly sending a message there too in this memo, that he thinks about not just his friends at the top of the hierarchy of society, but the ordinary folks on the bottom who he's programmed a lot of his media outlets to speak to very successfully, whether it is Fox News or whether it's the New York Post and speaking for the common man, and the Sun newspaper in the UK. It's I think a point of pride that he understands how to speak to ordinary people. Yeah, I think Rupert's capable of both being on a yacht and drinking Mai Tais and also running his business. So I think he can have the best of both worlds. I do think he lives and breathes the news. And I do think what he gives him most joy in life is business. I think that, this is a person who is not stepping back.